Hi, guys. We are your hosts, Lori.
And Shenisse, certified spiritual life coaches. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to our podcast, Branching In.
Yes. And Shanice, in this episode, we are going to talk about how it's not out there, it's in you. So when you think about that, boy, what does that mean to you? It's not out there, it's in you.
So to me, that means that the everything that I could ever need or want is within me. And I did not come by that easily. Because I'm the oldest of eight. I have seven younger brothers and sisters. My mom was a single mom. So I was the person who was helping her raise the kids, helping clean, cook, all of the things. And then later in life, I had my own kids and I was still helping out with my brothers and sisters. So to say that I had spread myself thin,
My
to
gosh,
say the
very
least,
thin.
is an understatement. Yeah. And so it was kind of through that, trying to be everything for everyone all the time that led me to the realization that I was coming at it from a place where I love my brothers and sisters. I love my mom. And so I was like trying to earn their love. I was trying to seek their approval. And so I never said no. Anytime I was ever asked for anything, it was always yes. Didn't matter how tired I was always there. And then through that, realizing like, okay, like this isn't the way. Like, I give myself all of the approval that I need. That comes from within me. The love that I was trying to earn, I give myself that love. That also comes from within. And it was through all of that trial and error and doing everything completely backwards that I realized I kind of came full circle and was like, okay, I need to stop that now because it comes from within. It doesn't come from outside of me.
What was your wake up call? Like for me, just listening to that, I know for me, my wake up call to go more within versus out and use myself as my own resource was what you mentioned. Just I wasn't able to show up for others in a way that was as much energetic or happy because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling, so I was saying yes, but not really feeling yes, as when I come from within and I feel complete and feel like I'm reset and ready to go, my yes really means yes.
Yeah.
And I feel more helpful and relaxed and happy and am able to help others more.
Yeah. And you know what? That's such a good point. And that was another thing that I realized was, in depleting my energy to give all of me to my family, what I was giving if it wasn't good for me, it's not good for them. Because there is no such thing as one way liberation. So, in me putting myself first and doing what is good for me, that is what's good for others. It's because
Yes.
we're all interconnected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
So
takes a lot of rewiring because I know for me, I was not raised that way. So
oh, no.
so starting with me, that's just a whole different it was actually letting go of that feeling selfish and
A big one.
feeling like I was, how dare me put myself before others. And that kept hitting a rock trying to go the other route, but still take care of me. And somehow I was put in the back burner because you can't do both,
No,
the law of physics. You can't have two places in the same, how's that go, Shanice? And those two objects in the same place at the same
no
time.
2 objects can occupy the same space at the same time.
Right. And so it was something had to give. If, I obviously it was me. So something, and that where I think for both of us, what we're saying here is why it was holy cow, it's not out there.
Yeah.
It's it starts with me. It
And
starts with me.
I'm really glad that you brought up how, like, it feels selfish because that's so true. And I think there's no getting around that. If you're a people pleaser like I was, if you're so used to putting everyone ahead of you and putting yourself last, when you start to put yourself first, you're going to feel selfish. It's the villain archetype, right? You're going to feel selfish. You're going to feel like a bitch.
And
People
people aren't
might
gonna like it. It's very uncomfortable.
Oh, yes, so uncomfortable. But don't let that stop you. You only feel selfish because you have spent your whole life putting yourself last. So it's normal to, go feel those feelings. And eventually, because we've both done that and we can both say from experience, eventually that does lessen and completely go away. Where, like, if someone were to call me selfish now, I would just laugh and be like, you're free to think whatever you want, but
And you know what? And these people benefit from your selfishness because you're better for them and everybody else. So it's like there's a benefit to everything from you going and taking care of you first. I mean, everybody benefits from that.
Yeah, because you're changing and putting yourself first, you're changing your energy, you're changing your frequency. And so the frequency that I now give off when I'm around other people is different. And they absolutely do benefit from the work that I've done just by being in my energy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I think just getting through the first few stages of that uncomfortable, because it's different, anything is gonna feel uncomfortable that's just unknown in different territory. But
Exactly.
once you get through that uncomfortable and also the others get through the uncomfortable, the people that are in our lives that are experiencing the difference that you're bringing out and you're kind of going inward first and taking care of you, and they're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
And once they go through their and let them be uncomfortable, they actually just like we need to be uncomfortable, it's okay.
It can
But
it
they'll
can be
see the difference.
Yeah. And it can be triggering because my family was so used to me showing up a certain way that when I stopped showing up that way, it was triggering. It was absolutely, and it was definitely uncomfortable. But in the moment, it wasn't until years later, where one of my sisters came and she's like, "I'm so proud of you for like saying no to like all these things that you get asked." And like, I loved that. Not that I needed her validation because it was already coming
Yeah,
from within me, but it was just like confirmation, like,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it does feel good to just yeah.
and now I'm the example that's showing them that they also have the ability to say no, to anything they don't.
Exactly, that's another good point. It does give others permission to do the same. Whether they want to or not, that's up to them, but it still gives them that permission because also they're seeing the results, how happy and how rested and, how you're flowing through life. It shows them that. It's like, "Oh, I want that." And
Yeah.
that's how she does that. She takes care of herself. It starts with me. She goes inward first. And she's just more better outward by going inside.
Yes.
And again, it takes time and patience and persistence and consistency and all of the above, but it's so worth it. It's just so worth it.
Yes. Yeah, because the internal is what creates the external. Your internal world, creates your external world. And
Exactly.
working on yourself, going within, it sets the stage for everything else in your life.
Everything, everything. It really does.
So there's this awesome paradox, right? It's when you look inward, life shifts outward. And I know that we have both done so much inner work. And I'm just curious, how has the inner work you've done, how has that affected your external reality?
That's such a great question, Shanice. There's so many things. When I started this journey going more inward, the first thing that comes to mind is slowing down and actually seeing what's good for me and what's not good for me. I guess I was just moving so fast, and going inward created me to have a little more space, a little more patience. And by having that space and patience, I was able to acknowledge and have awareness of things that were coming in, relationships that weren't good for me, that were no longer serving me, that I wasn't really paying attention to the effects they were having and blaming it on I'm having a bad day versus why am I having a bad day? Well, there's a lot this energy around me that doesn't feel right. But again, going inward to determine, my boundaries and what I do want in my life, it really changed, big effects is a lot of the relationships I had I disconnected with from doing the inner work, and which was very beneficial. It was very beneficial for me because again, I feel like now I'm leading more the life that I'm wanting to lead, not just fantasizing and thinking about it. I'm actually in that reality now. And again, there was some uncomfortability going through that, but the end result was more comfort. The initial uncomfortability, but the end result feeling a little just more peaceful and okay, not having the fear of being left out. I think I had that stigma of like my children would call,
Yeah.
FOMO, fear of being left
Fear of
out.
missing out.
And yeah, so you just do things unconsciously. And again, and now after going inward and doing that inward work, I don't feel that. I'm like so happy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just walking in nature. I'm with my dog today. This is the best day ever. And the little things just jump out. And yeah, so Shanice, to answer your question, like the things that really changed in my outer world is I was enjoying everything more. And everything that was coming in my world was more what I wanted it to be. The relationships were more closer, more defined, more vulnerable, more peaceful, more meaningful, maybe less of them, but what I had was more meaningful.
I love that for you. And I have experienced similar things. Like I really resonated when you mentioned being able to slow down because that was, I mean, I have 6 kids. So I'm constantly myself better so I could be there more efficiently for my babies. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I did learn that makes me think about the time, I have been a single mom for a very long time. And when life changed for my daughters and I, um, going inward and taking care of me directly and indirectly took care of my children because them seeing me doing good, they felt I am their rock. I'm their safety zone while they're little. And, again, I started being a single mom when they were, very young, 4 and 6 years old. So they needed to feel safe. And they never to this day, and now they're teenagers, when I asked them, they never felt unsafe because again, I went inside and did that work. So they knew they had that safe space with me. So they benefited from me going and doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, they really do. It's again, there's no such thing as one way liberation. And, anytime that we take time to take care of ourselves, it is in the best interest of everyone that we have a relationship with,
Everyone,
you know?
everyone. We're so
Truly. Yeah.
interconnected. Even people you don't think that you're reaching.
Yeah.
That's what I found too. That's what's so interesting about it. Like you touch people that you don't even know you're touching
Mhm. Yeah.
by taking care of.
Yeah, like even something as simple as, because I'm taking care of myself and I have more peace in my day, have more joy in my day. And that means I'm smiling more throughout my day while
Exactly.
I'm, going grocery shopping and running errands. And that just means when people, glance at me as I'm walking by, they see someone with a smile on their face and that's energy. That's just spreading joy and love. Something so
Yeah.
simple can have such a big impact.
But yeah, definitely. I know when someone is smiling, it actually puts a smile on my
Yeah.
face, or it makes me realize if I don't have a smile on my face.
Right?
I'm like, "Oh, what is wrong with me?" And like it's very
Mhm.
contagious to say the least. So Shanice, this actually brings us full circle of why we named our podcast show Branching
Mhm.
In.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Shanice, really branching out before we would branch in is really going out on a very unsteady limb, bringing back in unsteady things into life. And I think we each really we've realized that in talking about how we took that route and what our life
Mhm.
looked like then by branching out and going on some unsteady limbs, very breakable limbs, no boundaries, and what our life looks like today by doing the inner work and branching in and having our branch be solid and strong and rooted and what the outside is reflecting back to us what everything that's coming back and what we're receiving by branching in as we branch out now because we branched in first. The difference of what's coming into our world, the strength of the branch, the people, the relationships, everything that on the outside, what it looks
Yeah,
like now.
that's why we named our podcast Branching In is because of the importance of being able to go within you. Because again, it's not out there, it's in you, Lori. And
Right.
we went the way of branching out, right? I feel like everyone who is raised in the society, they're not taught to go within, they're taught to look at everything in the external. And so we've done that, Lori. We branched out and we made all the mistakes and we learned all of the lessons. And these past years of branching in and going within, we realize like how much better and more fulfilling it is to branch out after having branched in first. Now we,
Yeah.
like you mentioned boundaries. Now we have our boundaries, we are armed with all of our tools with self-love, and so it's like now when we branch out and we go out into the external world, we have that innate sense of safety. And so it just feels so much better. It's so much good.
Oh, yeah. And you know what, Shanice? I would have not understood that term years ago, branching in. Like, what are
Yeah.
they talking about? And when we were trying to come up with a name to really encompass everything that this podcast is going to showcase,
Mhm.
this just fits. And it makes so much sense. Something that so simple yet could be challenging, but like just I'm so grateful for the branching out first to really show me how the value
Mhm.
of branching in and sticking with the uncomfortability of that made the world of difference. And that's an awesome name, which makes so much sense to me to now the name of this podcast being called Branching In. It really does say it all. And absolutely go ahead and branch out,
Yes.
but branch in first. What a difference the rewards and the feelings and
Yes,
that
it
come
makes
along
all
with
the
that.
difference, truly, as we both seen and known and,
Yeah.
by our own lives. Yeah.
So, to wrap it up, Shanice, in this episode, we've talked about how validation and approval come from within and how your inner world determines your outer world because it is not out
That's
there,
right,
it's in
Lori.
you.
If you'd like to learn more about us or check out our products and services, you can click the link in the description. So, we like to end every episode with a quote, and today's quote is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can't wait for that healing to feel wholeness. You have to feel wholeness for that healing to occur. I love that. And that's
Love that.
that's so true. That's exactly what it is. All
Exactly.
right. Well, that's it for
Exactly.
this episode. Thank you guys for listening to Branching In with Shanice.
And Lori, join us for our next episode. We post every
Bye.
Friday. See you guys then.